Welcome to the Milk Market Tidbit for the February class and component values that USDA released yesterday. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm recording this on Thursday morning, March the 5th. So we'll start with the Class 1 prices. Of course, we've known that for a little while here, but that came down $1.65 to $14.70, and that is our low for the year. We were as high as $21.02 just about a year ago here. Now, Class 3 prices came up a little bit. I thought that the January ones would be the low at $14.59, and it was. So we came up 35 cents, but still under 15 and much lower than the 18.82 that we had back here in June. Now, these are pushing up. Now, these are the settlements as of Wednesday afternoon when the prices came out. But I think these have a lot of premium built into it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see these drop down a little bit. Now, if we look back 6 months for that February contract, it dropped $2.65. And that was pretty well the high, I think, at $17.45. So we could have sold all our milk there. But it continued to drop. But more importantly, I think this is what we're seeing in all of these contracts. It comes down, say, oops, no, not necessarily. Going down, oops, not necessarily. Down. And then one last more spike just before it's getting ready to close here. And the trade just has a really tough time letting these contracts go without saying, hey, they've got to be higher. But at the end of the day, this closed at $14.94. Fat prices are climbing with butter prices. It came up 33 cents to $1.78. Again, we had our low in January at $1.45. Our high was back here in July at $2.84. Now these seem to be kind of pushing, but there could be a ceiling at $2. So again, these might be just a little bit on the high side. And protein's been under a bunch of pressure. We're down 24 cents to $1.94. That is not our low. July was our low at $1.87. Of course, we had really high protein prices back here in November at the 301. These do look like they are continuing to increase here to about 250. Again, I think the question of whether cheese prices can get up above $1.70 and continue to hold exports or not is a question, so that's going to put a lot of this into question. Other solids came down just a fraction of a cent, so 44 cents is more or less our high. And again, we're off of the low at 29 back here in June. Whey's been under a bunch of pressure, so these are also dropping off in terms of the next 6 months. Now, Class 4 has been a little bit interesting. We had our low in January at $13.55. It came up $2.74. We had just a lot of butter that came to the market because starting March 1st, you can only bring butter that was made after December 1st. So as you approach March 1st, a lot of butter gets dumped on the market, and that's what happened here. Of course, our high was back here in July at $18.89, but these have really taken off on butter and non-fat dry milk prices. So here we are this morning, so I always like to timestamp this. Right now, we can pretty well say that Class 4 is going to be higher than Class 3 all the way through. And anytime that this segment here is red, that says that the difference is less than $1.74. So the old method of calculating the average plus 74 cents is better than the new method, which is the higher of. And this is an estimate of the DRP prices that will be available with the current future settlements. So this week you had the global dairy trade that was actually up quite a bit. The classic components, which just reviewed. Now, later today we're going to get the dairy products, so that will be the next milk market tidbit.